everyone. Can you hear me okay? All right. I'm Johanna Heureaux-Torres. I'm an energy campaigns analyst with the Sierra Club, and I'm so grateful and thankful and honored to be here amongst you all. As the last decade's fracking boom turned the U.S. from a gas importer to a gas exporter, companies have been racing to build liquefied natural gas or liquefied methane gas, or LNG, export projects in the U.S. Already, the U.S. has become the biggest LNG exporter, and there are enough export licenses already approved to triple our current capacity. Of the 4 operating and proposed projects in the country, 34 of them are in the Gulf South. That's 4 out of every 5 projects. If all become operational, every year these 34 projects would emit the same greenhouse gas as 579 million gasoline-powered vehicles or 625 coal plants. These terminals also generate harmful local pollutants like fine particulate matter, nitrogen oxides, and flare, often emitting noxious fumes. And where are they mostly being sited? Largely in and around low-income and Black and Brown communities. When applying a comprehensive climate vulnerability assessment from the Environmental Defense Fund and Texas A&M University that incorporates socioeconomic vulnerability, pollution exposure, health outcomes, infrastructure conditions, and climate and environmental conditions and risk, we find that the negative cumulative effect on these communities is worse than 88 to 99% of what the rest of the country experiences. To put it simply, these communities are disproportionately impacted and overburdened to an extreme extent. And Citi is guilty of perpetuating this environmental racism. As of today, Citi has provided nearly $1.7 billion in direct financing to 4 LNG export terminals in the Gulf South. And this is just the direct financing for specific LNG projects. Citi also gives LNG companies blank checks to do their business in the form of corporate financing. LNG developers could not build these projects without billions in funding from big banks like Citi. Citi funded Cheniere's Corpus Christi and Sabine Pass terminals, the oldest and biggest operating terminals, which are both currently working to expand to be even bigger. Citi has been directly funding these terminals every year since 2018, including as recently as last month. Cheniere's Corpus Christi terminal has violated its permitted emissions limits for soot, carbon monoxide, and volatile organic compounds hundreds of times. In 2019, Citi funded Cameron LNG, a terminal that has a documented history of failing to meet its emission limitations and reporting requirements, despite modeling confirming that Cameron LNG contributes to the local community experiencing nitrogen oxide pollutant levels above what is allowed by federal standards. Citi provided over $370 million in funding for Sempra's Port Arthur LNG terminal when it reached final investment decision a year ago. In fact, Citi took on the additional responsibility of advising Sempra on the transaction, meaning Citi played a critical role in helping the project get financed and start construction in a severely overburdened environmental justice community. Citi is also acting as a financial advisor to Delphin LNG, a proposed export terminal offshore of Louisiana, which would also require some onshore facilities. Here again, Citi has signed up to play a critical role in helping this project get financing and come to fruition. We know that for Citi to support these projects, it had to vet them internally. By funding these LNG export terminals, Citi put a stamp of approval on forcing Black and Brown communities in the Gulf South to be sacrifice zones for the fossil fuel industry. And we know that many other projects are trying to get financing right now, meaning they are talking to banks like Citi, asking for multi-million-dollar loans. Like all banks, Citi is responsible for the impact of the companies and projects that it finances. This is a critical time for Citi to end its financing of environmental racism and climate disaster by ceasing financial support for LNG. Thank you.